Hello and welcome to Brave Souls Rewind, the show where I 200 older characters so you don't have to. Today I'll be doing a character that excited quite a bit of you when I announced that he was gonna be next. Now at first I didn't understand why, but then I remembered that when he first came out he had an attack of 503. That was a pretty big deal because that was a high attack back in the 5-star days. However, the game has changed a lot since then, and it's time to see whether or not he's still usable. Now I started off with the normal attack damage build, the build that I figured would be the best for this character since his attack is still relatively high. This character does have a plus 40 attack for a link, which doesn't exactly help him here, since having a normal attack damage link would be way better. But still, everything started off great with this character, the damage was there, and he had decent attack speed and range. And then I got to a huge problem with this character, and that's that it takes him quite a bit of time to get through melee guard enemies, since you either have to hit them with 2 strong attack 1s, or 1 strong attack 3. And at first that wasn't that big of a deal since a single strong attack 3 would do it, but when you get back-to-back guard enemies, it got to be really annoying. The good thing is that his strong attack 2 is ranged, it bypasses this, but he had a champion so it didn't really help him much. Still, I am gonna say this is a viable build. The obstacles are there and they are annoying, but they're not unpassable, and they're only on a few enemies. I still wouldn't take him to anything difficult though, since his strong attacks don't have that great a range, and it would be tough to break the guards of several enemies at the same time. Next up we have the strong attack damage build, and his SP isn't that high. He does however have a berserker at 35%, and that along with the strong attack damage links, we're able to take out multiple enemies in a single strike. However, you run into the same problem as the last build, where only the strong attack 1 and 3 are able to break the guards of certain enemies. Fortunately for you though, his strong attack 2 actually does damage with this build since you don't have a champion. Unfortunately for you though, his normal attack is then less than stellar, since the links and accessories go to making the strong attacks better. In the end, I found this build to be passable, but I wouldn't recommend it. Your normal attacks can still pick off the remaining health of the enemies, and you technically can get this build to work, it's just not the best option, since you're forced to wait for your strong attacks to come back to do any significant damage. Bleep bloop. Next up we have the strong attack recharge build, a build that for the most part fixes the whole guard issue, since your strong attacks come back so quickly and you can just rely on your strong attack 1 to break the guards. However, with that issue out of the way, it kind of raises another, and that's the fact that your strong attacks no longer deal that much damage. Sure, some of them are still enough to take out enemies, but for some of the other enemies you're going to be using a lot more strong attacks to take them out. And much like the last build, it's still possible to beat quests with this build, it just feels like a lot more work to get the same results. So again, passable but not recommended. Bleep bloop. Finally we have the hybrid build, and I actually quite like this build. It feels kind of like a watered down version of the normal attack damage build, except your strong attacks now deal damage. You still kinda have the guard issue, but much like the normal attack damage build, you can just save your strong attacks 3 and 1 to deal with this. Plus your normal attacks now deal enough damage to be able to take care of any remaining health. Now I would still take the normal attack damage build over this build when it comes to some of the tougher raids, but that's not to say that this one isn't usable. In the end, the biggest issue for this character was the whole guard thing, something that could have been very easily fixed by making a strong attack 1 hit twice instead of just once, or by making a strong attack 2 deal melee damage instead of range damage. Unfortunately, I don't see them adding frenzy to this character when he gets resurrected, so it may just be a problem he just has, which is unfortunate but not the worst thing in the world.
染めの舞月城手加減はしておいた。
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know what other characters you want to see in a rewind.